whatever they've learnt in Europe, all the exposure they have just flies out the window, and then they come here and come and play grassroots football again. So I don't know. This game doesn't inspire any confidence. The only positive you can take away is say we had 8 big chances. Our XG was crazy. We should have won, but we did not win. Going to Cote d'Ivoire to go and play.
Believe me, guys, gone were those days when they say there is minor in football. Right about now, especially in Africa, there is nothing like that exists anymore. Look at what has happened at this present Nations Cup. 3 teams have caused an upset. 2 major teams have won the Nations Cup in the past. One, Cape Verde. Another one is Equatorial Guinea. Another one that almost caused a major upset was Mozambique. All these teams were regarded as minors in football. But right about now, they are beginning to also challenge the giants in Africa. On that note, you're welcome to the Afcon Special. What's popping, what's trending, what's happening in the latest. You want to get up to speed with that, this is where you are supposed to be. My name is Farouk Adetola. I've got Ivory Coast in the studio. Roy, who is not keen as well as Izu for Shizu. And today,
I do not add the Shizu to my own.
I don't make you guys just talk anything. Let's get into the action because they prepare me for body. Okay. I'm seriously injured, honestly, and I'll tell you why. But let's start.
Hamstring or ACL, which one?
I don't know those two. Those two, you get up, you're not coming back as your normal self. But definitely, I'm seriously injured as far as what has happened so far in Ivory Coast is concerned. And guys, it is best of the best sports show anywhere on planet Earth. IBK, I'm not going to start with you. Let me start with Roy. The opener was between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau. They call them Guinea-Bissau South. And just like that, they collect 2. The first goal was so early. A lot of people are already saying this goal should be the goal of the tournament. Just 1 goal. And we are already making noise. That's part of us trending. Let's talk about the host nation. That's, perception. That feeling that you get from a host nation that they can go all the way and do it. Do you see it in Ivory Coast?
Of course, when the opening match was Stadium Field, you cannot rule out that fact. The feeling, playing behind your fans and all of that, it's overwhelming, and it actually translated to the results. They played well. Ivory Coast played well. They dominated the team. You will call what's the opponent?
I'm sure I begin to agree with you.
You will call them a small team, but the truth be told, you will see a flair of champions in them. You understand? They have the team to go all the way to win this tournament. Look at the first 11. If you look at the bench, you understand? You will see quality players in the bench. So when you look at the overall team, like sincerely, they are favorites, or one of the favorites to actually lift the tournament. And playing on home soil also is actually an advantage. So I mark them as one of the favorites to actually win the tournament.
Well, I can still feel that impression that a host nation will set on you. I've not seen it. Remember All Jazz Night, the first match was between Nigeria and Algeria. Yeah. We were promoted 5-1. Remember South Africa, when they won the Nations Cup in 1996, they had that impression right from the start till finish. But can you say the same thing of Ivory Coast? The goal from Bafana was fantastic. Guinea-Bissau was not that poor. But to me, I think that I'm not really impressed with what I saw from Ivory Coast. It could have been better.
Well, I think the only difference in that game was the fact that Ivory Coast had players who probably have more experience.
Absolutely.
Who have more exposure, to put it that way. Seko Fofana plays alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. So, that goal, I said it, that goal was probably maybe some things he's seen in training with Ronaldo. It was pinpoint. The intention was there. Yeah, this precision was crazy. So you have Fofana, you have this their captain again that once played for Barcelona and also AC Milan, Frank Kessie, So I think that was just the difference. And I always say, I always say that when you have individual players that are actually good enough, there's this brilliance that comes into that game. Were they cohesive enough in the game? I don't think so. I think African football, you hardly see cohesion. You hardly see team chemistry. You get, compared to what you see in European football, where people, like it was saying the other time, you can't see team make 10 passes. It's very difficult. Maybe the field, quite bumpy, we know. So you look at African football generally, I think for me, I wasn't convinced with the opening game. But I think tournaments are built in the way that teams get better as the game progresses, as tournament progresses. So that's why I'm not surprised. You can see them go all the way, and you can see them not even make come out of the group. But they already have 3 points, so they should easily come out of that group.
Well, a host nation anytime wants to start like a house on fire. At least win your first match, and that's what will take you to the next destination. I'm talking about what I just said. I was speaking to someone some minutes before Super Eagles game, against Equatorial Guinea on Sunday, and he said that he was watching Newcastle United and Man City's match, and the IQ was struggling to catch up with the game because of how pacey, how technical that game was. And immediately he started watching Nigeria's match against Equatorial Guinea. It was like way ahead of the game because of the technicality, struggling to pass. Even the pitch was not as awesome as we used to see in the Premier League. We just hope that African football can also match up with what we see from the Senat line. Now let's talk about another match that caught our fancy. Talking about Mozambique against Egypt. That match for me has to be one of the best games so far this tournament. And if you have watched Mozambique as well, I think Mozambique are one of the most gifted side. The way and manner they have played, no fear. They considered very early, and they still bounce back. They almost won that match, if not for the stupidity of the defender, who I feel experience cost him. But so far, all the teams I've mentioned, Mozambique, Equatorial Guinea against Nigeria, as well as Cape Verde against Ghana. Of those 3 minors, who do you think can be the dark horse of this tournament?
So far, so good. If you look at the stats of all the games that have happened, the way they've played, how they've gone and said big teams of the tournament, I think you have to give it up for Mozambique. They played Egypt, who were finalists in the last Afcon.
They had Salah.
Who have Salah, you get, and this was their first game of tournament. And if we're being honest, it wasn't like Egypt outplayed them and they just managed to maybe score on the counter or whatever. In the games, they're the elite team so far that I've watched, including Ivory Coast, that have been able to knock the ball from the back, expand the field, shrink when necessary, play the ball into space, make the ball their friend, basically. You get. So if we're going by that time, I'm not going to lie, they look like the only team out of all the ones that you've mentioned so far. As the teams that we've seen so far, they look like the possible dark horse.
Well, they look like the possible dark horse. I have to agree with you. But let's talk about Salah. A lot of people have said that he does not give his all when he's playing for Egypt, just like he does regularly, steadily for Liverpool. But the question we should be asking ourselves as sport analysts and also those that are following sport is that do you think that the quality that you see with Liverpool, left, right, and center defense, coaching ability also from the bench is what we see also in Egypt? And Roy, for me, I think that for Salah, do you think he should be doing more? Was the only goal he even scored was from the penalty spot. He almost lost it, if not for the luck he had from the crossbar.
Well, you cannot compare the Egypt team with the Liverpool team. Also, you cannot, age is gradually catching up with Salah. You cannot cheat nature. You understand? So, in Liverpool currently, Salah doesn't really do much anymore. All he does is just to, pick up the team and just score and all of that. There are some other people that actually do the working. The midfielders that actually do the working for him. Does he have that kind of players in Egypt? No, he doesn't have it. So obviously you can't compare African football with European football. So he always struggles when he plays for Egypt. It's not new. But is he a fantastic player? Yes, he's a fantastic player. You can't bench him. His presence in the team brings so much to the team and all of that. So I hope that he motivates the team or inspires the team to go further than what they played there yesterday. I mean, I was disappointed with their play yesterday, to be fair.
For information, the match ended 2-2 in favor, not in favor of anybody, between Mozambique as well as Egypt. They've won this tournament the most times, 7 times on the record, and nobody is even very, very close to them. The only person close to them is Cameroon, who I feel will not add to their title this year. And talking about Cameroon, we'll get there. And talking about Onana, where I feel that is another issue we need to treat on its own on our trending topics. But let's go back home and talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. To me, the only Eagles, they are not super. I say that. The only Eagles, they are not super as far as I'm concerned. Until they convince me that they are super again, I will gladly and proudly call the name Super Eagles of Nigeria. You can see the first goal. See the first goal. Iwobi was ball watching. Awareness 0.
Now, hold on, please. Now, Farouk, I think that we should try and cut this guy some slack.
Slack now.
Hold on, Farouk, hold on. this, I always say that as much as we always have too many foreign-based players in the national team of almost every African team, there will be struggles. The Afcon will look like a struggling ground. The temperature in this game was so high, they had to take cooling break twice. See, now you look at conditions, I always say it. Conditions matter a lot. And I maybe probably if Osimhen was maybe playing at Anfield or maybe at under, I'm sure he would have probably buried those goals normally. But the problem again is team cohesion. I've always had this issue of which coach will come in and maybe bring the understanding in this team together. But it's very hard because you know why? A lot of these guys play around the world and just come together. You can't compare it to what you have in England. You can't compare it to what you have in Spain, what you have in Brazil. We have too many players from everywhere coming together in just 2 weeks. Now take a look at Onana. Let's assume Onana is a player. How do you want him to have an understanding of what the team has trained or what they've been training in the past 2 weeks? I'm not giving excuses for Super Eagles of Nigeria, but I always say that first game of the tournament, you should try and just cause some slack for the team. The second game is when we start saying, come on, there's no time anymore.
Who's the second game?
Ivory Coast. And I will say it here that Nigeria is going to beat Ivory Coast convincingly.
We'll come to that. Hold on. Hold your thoughts. Let's talk about some of the midfield players. Let me come to Isu. Alassane Yusuf was not even part of the party. Injury to Wilfred Ndidi, he came on. And I'm going to pick out two players that show like minimum stars in our first match. It has to be Alassane Yusuf as well as Ademola Lookman, who for me played his best game for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And I begin to ask question, Ose Pesero, where exactly are you on? I don't know. Because he had the chance of even adding 2 more players in the midfield. We went with just 5. And this Yusuf of a guy is injured currently. We don't know his status, whether he's going to play the next match. How vital will our midfield be going forward? Because Alassane Yusuf has shown that he can play in big games, but now he's a bit injured and we don't know his status.
When we spoke about the Afcon coming up and the Nigerian national team, it was said on this show that, or rather I said on the show, you pick your team with the players that are available to you. No doubt. He went with all the attackers in the world. Our attackers yesterday, Ba Osimhen's goal, they didn't do anything for me. Now you have players available to you. Set up your team in a way that will play to the strength of what you have, and at least give you the best possible chance at winning. I don't think Jose Pesero is the man. I said it before, I don't trust him. If maybe we had Sao Tome in our group, possibly. If we're playing Sao Tome next, we'll qualify. The fact that we're playing Ivory Coast, I know IBK believes that we can beat the host nation because these are the kind of games that the Super Eagles usually come alive.
Anyways.
Now I get that. You get. And he has every right to say that. If we still had Boniface, I'd have said, okay, yes, he's the kind of player that with Osimhen, they can, do something. But at the end of the day, you don't have to bank on only maybe Osimhen. We have Moses Simon. There's Chukwueze who never comes to the party when it's for the Super Eagles. I'm very sorry to say it. I don't fancy him in the Super Eagles jersey. He doesn't do it for me. Lookman probably had his best game. I don't know if that will be the best game we have in this tournament. Because every time they put on the national jerseys, like whatever they've learned in Europe, all the exposure they have just flies out the window. And then they come here and play grassroots football again. So I don't know. This game doesn't inspire any confidence. The only positive you can take away is say we had 8 big chances. Our XG was crazy. We should have won, but we did not win. Going to Cote d'Ivoire to go and play, I don't really see it. But
we're already in Cote d'Ivoire.
why are you there? Playing the host nation, no problem. I'll be a patriot.
That's the next question, and that comes to you,
them.
Roy. Mm-hmm. Our next match,
yes,
is against the host nation.
Yes,
who won their own first game by 2 goals to nothing. No problem. And I don't know where the confidence is coming from IBK, and some guys, behind the camera are saying that they go chopper. That's one thing my friends say. They go chopper. But on that day, what do we need to put? Because if this is what they're going to do against Cote d'Ivoire,
bro, it's just a wishful thinking. You understand? We won. Look, what is our start with Cote d'Ivoire? First and foremost, we won them in 2013 semi-finals, if I'm not mistaken. Quarterfinals, right? Yes, but afterwards, what happened? We've played them twice and they won. They came out tops.
Wasn't friendly, right?
whatever is still a match, a competitive match.
So this
and
match
they
in
won.
particular,
Pesero was not our coach.
No, see, funny enough, you are talking about is Pesero a coach? He's not a coach. What is our team setup? You understand? So I watched the opening match, and I watched. Nigeria created chances against who? Equatorial Guinea. Are you saying you are going to have similar chances with a big team like Cote d'Ivoire? No. You can't have such chances. You understand? So you can't compare the stats. They are two different teams altogether. So I believe that it's a mountain to climb for Super Eagles. They can't do it with this performance they just did. They can't.
Do you know why I would disagree with you?
Yeah,
and the reason is because, like I always say it, they feel more comfortable when they play with a team that has superior European players. That's why.
When was the last time you saw
Hold
that?
on. Hold on. What I'm saying is, now you look at the Cote d'Ivoire squad, and you can have maybe 3-4 players play in their league. Mm-hmm. I'm very sure. Most of the players that are there are players coming from Europe. Yeah, coming from wherever they are. And I will say that now this is more like, okay, we're on a level playing ground. I play in Napoli, you play. A lot of them understand that you can't be as fluent as someone who plays in Africa, who plays CAF competitions, who play the CAF Champions League, who understands the terrain, who knows the weather very well. We gotta be on the same level. And again, there's this psyche of, oh, we are playing the host nation. We are there are people here, and I think I should be able to convince and perform enough. I can say that the attendance here might even be a factor in why we didn't even play well. How many people are there? You came for the game. Just look at how empty the stadium is. We are talking about the biggest competition in Africa. You have one of the most expensive player in the world playing on the turf, and the stadium is as scanty as this. Oh, there are factors that you should bring into why we didn't win against Equatorial Guinea. And I'm not giving an excuse. But you cannot try to say that we are going to struggle against Cote d'Ivoire, who also I feel that they have almost the same problem we have as well. Too many players coming from all around the world, from different clubs, no chemistry, no team cohesion, no understanding of the game, and again, coming together in a terrible weather. Farouk, I can put my money on anything that Nigeria is going to beat Cote d'Ivoire on Thursday.
Well, going straight to that, I said he can put his money that Cote d'Ivoire will lose against Nigeria.
I don't care how much I get. You know, one drop out.
What you want to
drop? So we'll move on.
Let's talk now.
Farouk, forget. Just move on. One drop out.
No, tell me.
I don't say me drop one name now. You say one drop out.
This guy is a joker.
If he ready.
Well, let's move away from Nigeria's issue. And for me, I think that we need to do better if we hope to beat Cote d'Ivoire come Thursday, because that match is going to be very important. We cannot afford to have 1 point from 2 games.
Let them just take their chance.
No, we can't, because there's best.
Let's talk about Cape Verde against Ghana.
Why do we always have to make use of calculators?
Let's talk about Cape Verde against Ghana.
In every tournament.
Before the game,
before
that game, Cape Verde Ghana, when we played one all draw, Ghanaian fans on social media were like, that is why their own jollof rice is better than Nigerian jollof rice. That's why they are better than us. That's why they stop us from going to the World Cup.
And
when they now played against Cape Verde, not only did they lose, they were outplayed, honestly. Because I saw the chances created. Cape Verde showed them why they were better. And Cape Verde have been on the rise for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And they showed them that, yes, we can get the better of you. 2 goals to 1 match ended. And not only did they lose that match also caused a problem for them, because one of their fans actually attacked the
Chris
Ocean. For me, I would say it is no anytime. There's never any time should you go and attack someone because a match was lost. If you don't like the coach again, go to your FA. Go and protest in Accra, in Kumasi, and say, please change this man for us. But attacking the coach is a no for me. So fans, if you're watching this, please stay away from attacking whether a player, a manager, or even club owners. It's not good for the game. But let's look at the reason why they lost that match. Because Ghana flattered to the sea for over 20 years. Last time they won the Nations Cup was in 1984, if I'm still correct. I think it's 1984.
Yeah.
And they have been on the search till this moment. This performance can win them the Nations Cup. Knowing fully well they are playing against Mozambique and Egypt next. That's going to be a killer.
I don't really see it. But IBK said something here. He said, in tournaments like this, you see teams get better.
No Ghana.
Why not Ghana?
IBK Ghana.
It's very possible.
It's
Ghana.
Now African football, I don't tell you.
Okay, so
It's very possible.
So
this is
Ghana
it.
will beat Egypt the next match.
It's very
It's very
why can't it
possible.
be Egypt?
See, nothing is impossible. See,
Egypt did not play anything too.
that's
Let's
what I'm
not
saying.
lie.
See, like I said, I don't fancy Egypt. You understand? They are the days of Abutrika and those days are gone. You understand?
Yeah,
Barsala.
So
Yeah.
so that will be like this.
Bar- Salah.
What's that guy's name? Mamouche. I like
No.
the guy. Sha.
Yeah. See, just one or two players, you know. It's not like when they were, you know, the days of, like I said, Abutrika.
You know the funny
what's
thing.
this guy's
You know
name?
the funny thing.
Hassan.
You people said this
Al-Hassan
thing.
and
You people
the
said this thing
rest.
last Afcon when they didn't do too well in the group stage,
Yeah.
and they got to the finals of the tournament.
This is my penalty.
And it took penalty for Senegal, who were hot at the time, to actually beat them. So I think it's very funny now that we're trying to write Ghana off already because they lost to Cape Verde. It's the Afcon. Upsets they happen. Nigeria won all our games in the group stage the last time and lost to Tunisia that qualified as best losers. It's Afcon. It happened.
Apart from
Just calm
Afcon,
down.
it's tournament. You get
Anything
your
can
shots
happen.
and
So
you
what are the chances of Ghana right now? Considering that they lost their first match, the next match is against Egypt, IBK, and the final match is against Mozambique, who we are saying
Chances are
are one
slim.
of the best sides so far from the first round of games.
Okay, now this is it. Are they going to get now? They have 0 points, right? What they have to target now is at least 4 points to come out of the group as
How
best
big is
result. A plus and minus against Egypt. That if I'm pursuing, come, let's look at Egypt. We are not losing this game. That should be in their head first. There's no way we are losing this game because if we want to finish as best result with 3 points, it's very risky because you don't know what to expect from other groups. So, are we going to lose against Egypt? No, we are not losing, which is very possible. This is Ghana. Ghana, they have fantastic players as well. They have experienced players. They have one of the players who has played 7 Nations Cup. So, it's not as if they lack quality. They have the quality. It's just more like psyching them up to play a game that's more like a game of their life at that moment. Against Mozambique, will Ghana beat Mozambique? Yes. Mozambique played against Egypt very well, but football is not mathematics. You know, what the momentum they played against Egypt might not be what you never can tell. The third game for Mozambique might be maybe they lost hope already. You know, understand? Maybe there's nothing to really fight for in the third game. So I think for me, if Ghana should understand that there's still high possibility that they are coming out of that group and going to the knockout stages, I think with the quality they have, they should be able to do that.
Well, special shout out to Andrew, who is making his appearance for 8th time at the Nations Cup. That is fantastic. That's awesome. But what has he done with those 8 appearances at the Nations Cup? Absolutely nothing. The best they got was getting to the final. It was just start by according to Izu. And now let's leave the issue of Ghana and their jollof rice and their problems. And let's just end it on the right note. IBK, Nations Cup, they go on. I want to put you guys on the spots. I don't want this or this. Who wins the Nations Cup? And if you win it, I'm done anchoring. Honestly, the best that gets the right decision, 10,000 naira on me. Right. I don't get 1 million, but that's where you're. So who wins the Nations Cup? Who wins quickly?
I've always said it, Nigeria.
I'm saving my money. I'll give me that money, Roy.
For that, it's too early to call, but I would say
You like the very political. Which one
Who is going to win the Nations Cup?
Ivory Coast, the host nation.
I'm giving my money.
I'm a big patriot. Super. Oh, if you win, I'm going to give us thank you. We're not going to sham.
Okay, of course.
Oh yeah,
Nigeria will go to war.
Super Eagles cannot cross 16 round. Nigeria is out.
I'm going to keep my money.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Wait, though. Who go win? I'm say yes.
I'm going for it now. Why should I mention?
No, who go win?
Just
Don't worry.
Someone win it.
Which one be someone
mention.
winning?
A team will win it. Just one team.
No, nah.
Look at
Oga Farouk,
Who
who will win Afcon? Say my team.
When I'm in your position, I will tell you
Don't worry, I
who
will
is
put
going
you on the spot,
who's
sure.
going to win it. But guys, it's been very, very interesting on what's popping at Nations Cup and as well as Onana, who for me is on Onana like. If there's any English like that. On that note, we have come to the end of this interesting episode where the guys are bantering, shouting on top of their voice. You just have to acknowledge that. That's what guys does when we are talking about sport. And definitely we're back with more exciting news, trending topics, banters as well as some other side things happening at the Just Cup. Trust me, we've got guys out there in Cote d'Ivoire that will give us exclusive on this particular show. Until we see you again, enjoy the rest of the day.